Good day, dear friends. From the moment we take our first breath, we become part of a greater plan designed by God. The Bible declares in Jeremiah 1:5, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart." This verse reminds us that each of us is uniquely called by God to fulfill a divine purpose. For many of us, evidence of this calling can often be found in the early years of our childhood. Chosen children often show deep compassion for others, even when they are young. You may have felt a strong desire to comfort those in pain, help those in need, or be there for others in times of trouble. Being chosen by God does not mean living a life free of difficulties or marked by perfection. It means being set apart, molded through challenges, and equipped for a higher purpose. If you are a chosen person, you are watching the right video, so subscribe to the channel and type 555 in the comments to thank God. Early awareness of God's presence. Some children have an innate sense of wonder and connection to God before they are able to fully understand who He is. This may manifest as an attraction to prayer, an eagerness to attend church, or a deep sense of peace when thinking about God. This early awareness is often a sign that God was drawing you to Himself from an early age. From an early age, some children show a remarkable awareness of God's presence in their lives. It's not something they can always articulate clearly, but it's there, quietly shaping their hearts and minds. This sense of connection to God often goes beyond what they've been taught or what they see around them. It feels natural, as if God Himself is reaching out to them, drawing them closer to Himself, even before they are able to fully understand who He is. Imagine a child sitting alone under the vast night sky, looking up at the stars and feeling something far deeper than awe. It is not just curiosity about the universe, but a quiet awareness of something bigger, an invisible presence that brings both wonder and peace. The child may not yet know the word God, but he or she feels God's hand in the beauty and vastness of creation. This sensitivity is more than just imagination. It is often the first sign of a heart connected to God. For some children, this awareness manifests as an attraction to prayer or spiritual rituals. They may be the ones who eagerly bow their heads in church or imitate their parents in prayer, not out of duty, but out of a genuine desire to connect with something bigger than themselves. It is as if they already understand in their simple, childlike way that talking to God is a source of comfort and joy. These moments are not random. They are small signs of God's presence, whispering to their souls. Others may feel this awareness most strongly during difficult times. Imagine a child who, in the middle of a stormy night, feels an indescribable peace as he speaks quietly to God in his heart. They may not even be aware that they are praying, but they instinctively seek out a presence they somehow know is there. For such children, this connection to God becomes a refuge, a place of safety and hope, even when life around them seems uncertain or overwhelming. Parents and caregivers often notice this characteristic as well. Perhaps they see their child asking deep questions about life, death, and the meaning of existence, questions that seem too deep for their age. Or perhaps they see them in quiet moments folding hands or lifting eyes, connecting with the invisible world. These are not just signs of curiosity, they are signs of a heart drawn to God. This early awareness does not mean that the child will grow up without doubts or challenges in their faith. Life can also bring seasons of questions or disorientation, but that early connection often remains a foundation, a touchstone to which they return when life seems chaotic or confusing. It's like a seed already planted in their soul, ready to grow when the time is right. If you ever experienced this as a child, you can probably now recognize this feeling as something sacred. Maybe you didn't fully understand it at the time, but looking back, you can see how God was gently guiding you, speaking to your heart in a way you could understand. This early awareness of God's presence is a beautiful reminder that He knows us and loves us long before we fully understand Him. A strong sense of right and wrong. children chosen by God often display an unusual sensitivity to morality. Even without being explicitly taught, you may have sensed a conviction about doing the right thing, standing up for justice, or feeling uncomfortable when others do wrong. From an early age, some children have an innate sense of right and wrong. It seems their moral compass is finely tuned, guiding them toward being just and fair even before they fully understand why. This sensitivity to morality is not something they simply acquire from their surroundings. It is deeply ingrained in their hearts. These children often have a strong conviction about doing the right thing and cannot easily turn a blind eye when they see wrongdoing. Imagine a child on the playground who sees another child being teased or left out. While others look away or join in, this child feels compelled to step up and defend the child who is being mistreated. They may not have the words to articulate it, but they instinctively know that fairness and kindness matter. This courage to stand up, even when it is uncomfortable or risky, is the hallmark of a person with a heightened sensitivity to justice, a trait often seen in those chosen by God. This moral awareness is not limited to observing the world around them. It extends to their inner lives as well. When these children make a mistake or hurt someone, they feel a deep sense of guilt or remorse. It is not just fear of being caught. It is genuine sorrow at having done something they know is wrong. You may remember moments in your childhood when you felt this kind of regret. Perhaps you lied or took something that wasn't yours, and the weight of that decision stayed in your heart until you made amends. This strong conscience isn't a burden. It's a gift, shaping their character and bringing them closer to God's purpose. In some cases, these children may struggle to understand why other people don't think the same way. They may wonder why some people don't care about fairness or why wrongdoing isn't challenged. This sensitivity can sometimes make them feel like outsiders, as if they see the world differently from those around them. But this otherness is part of what makes them different. It's a reflection of their unique calling to be a voice for truth and justice. Their sensitivity to morality often makes them a protector of the weak. Maybe you were the child who stood up for a sibling, defended a friend, or comforted someone who was grieving. Even in small ways, your actions reflected a deep understanding of what it means to care for others and uphold what is right. These moments, though seemingly ordinary, were glimpses of the greater purpose God placed in your heart. As these children grow, this strong sense of right and wrong becomes the basis for their faith and actions. They may face challenges, times when standing up for what is right seems lonely or costly, but their convictions often carry them forward. Looking back, they may recognize that this sensitivity was not just a personality trait, it was a sign of God's hand shaping them for a purpose. This moral awareness is a beautiful gift. It prepares these individuals to become agents of change, advocates of justice, and examples of integrity in a world that desperately needs it. If you recognize this trait in yourself or others, cherish it as a divine mark of God's work in your life. It's a reminder that from a young age, He was preparing you to live out His principles and reflect His love for the world. Experiencing unusual challenges. God often prepares His chosen people from a young age through trials. These challenges, whether in the form of family conflict, bullying, health issues, or loss, are not signs of abandonment, but preparation. They shape your character. From a young age, some children face challenges that seem heavier than others. These hardships, whether they come in the form of family conflict, bullying, health issues, or loss, may leave a child wondering why life seems so difficult. However, in God's great plan, these trials are not signs of abandonment but tools of preparation. They serve to mold and strengthen those He has chosen for a unique purpose. Imagine a child growing up in a home filled with instability. Perhaps their parents were constantly arguing, or they experienced the pain of divorce. In such moments, it is easy for a child to feel overlooked and question why their life seems so different from their peers. Yet, for many chosen individuals, these early struggles often become the foundation of their resilience and faith. In the silence of those difficult days, they may find themselves turning to God, seeking comfort in ways they may not have fully understood at the time. These experiences teach them to trust God, forming a relationship that becomes unbreakable as they grow older. Bullying is another common challenge for isolated children. A child who looks different, whether because of his kindness, intelligence, or even his faith, can often become a target. The pain of rejection or ridicule can leave deep scars, but it also instills an empathy and strength that only comes from going through such trials. Perhaps you remember sitting alone at lunch or hearing hurtful words from others. Yet those moments, as painful as they were, prepare you to recognize the value of every person and stand up for what is right. Health issues, whether chronic illnesses or unexpected ailments, are another way chosen ones often experience trials. A child struggling with illness may wonder why they have to endure pain while others live carefree lives. But these challenges often teach them about perseverance and gratitude. They learn to cherish life in ways that others take for granted and develop a perspective that allows them to comfort and inspire others who are struggling. Loss is another powerful challenge many people face early in life. Whether it is the death of a loved one, a move that separates them from friends, or a loss of stability due to financial struggles, such experiences can seem overwhelming to a child. Yet in these moments of grief, many chosen ones begin to feel God's presence more deeply. They find solace in Him and discover that His love remains constant, even when everything else seems uncertain. The beauty of these unusual challenges is what they produce. They mold a child into a person who is empathetic, resilient, and deeply aware of the needs of others. They teach lessons that cannot be learned in difficult times, lessons about trust, perseverance, and God's enduring faithfulness. If you have faced such trials in your life, it is important to recognize that they were not in vain. Each difficulty was a step in your journey, preparing you for the unique purpose God has planned for you. These experiences, though painful, are often the marks of someone chosen to make a difference in the world. They remind us that God does not make our struggles in vain. He uses them to make us more deserving of His love and strength. A heart sensitive to the needs of others. Chosen children often show deep compassion for others, even when they are young. You may have felt a strong desire to comfort those in pain, help those in need, or be there for others in times of trouble. From an early age, some children have extraordinary sensitivity to the needs of others. It is as if their hearts have a knack for noticing pain, discomfort, or sadness in those around them. Even without being asked, they reach out to offer solace, help, or simply their presence. This compassion is a beautiful sign of a heart touched by God, set aside for a purpose beyond itself. Imagine there is a child on the playground who sees another child sitting alone, head bowed, perhaps trying to hold back tears. While others may not even notice or hesitate to approach, this child feels a pull in his heart to go to the lonely child, sit beside him and ask, "Are you okay?" They may not have the right words to say, but just their presence can comfort them. This tendency to care, to feel seen and valued, is the hallmark of a heart deeply attuned to the needs of others. Children with this gift often can't ignore the suffering they see, whether it's a classmate being teased, a sibling feeling lonely, or a stranger struggling with something. Their empathy compels them to act, even if it's as simple as a kind word or helping hand. Perhaps you remember a time when you gave up your toy or treat to make someone else happy. Maybe you were the one who always noticed when someone was having a bad day and went out of your way to cheer them up. This sensitivity isn't limited to big dramatic moments. It's often seen in small, quiet acts of kindness. A child might spontaneously share their lunch with someone who forgot their food, offer to lift something heavy for an elder, or spend time listening to a friend's troubles. These small acts may seem ordinary, but they carry profound weight in the lives of those they touch. To the child exhibiting them, these acts are simply expressions of their natural compassion, a reflection of a heart deeply connected to God's love. At times, this sensitivity can feel overwhelming. A child with a compassionate heart may struggle with the weight of others' pain. They may cry when they see someone else cry, or be deeply affected by stories of hardship or injustice. While this can be challenging, it is also a sign of an open heart, a heart that feels deeply because it is made to care deeply. As they grow older, these children often become people to whom others turn for comfort and encouragement. Their natural ability to sense and respond to the needs of others makes them a source of strength and hope. They reflect the kind of love that reflects God's character, selfless, attentive, and full of grace. If you were such a child, your compassion was never a weakness. It was a gift. It set you apart as someone chosen to bring light into the lives of others. Looking back, those moments when you felt the urge to help or comfort weren't just random acts of kindness. They were signs of a deeper calling. Your heart's sensitivity to the needs of others is a powerful reminder that from an early age, God was shaping you to be His hands and feet in a world that desperately needs love. A unique gift or talent, God often equips His chosen people with special abilities or interests that set them apart. From an early age, some children display unique gifts or talents that set them apart from their peers. These abilities, whether in the form of creativity, intelligence, or an innate knack for connecting with others, are not random or coincidental. They are intentional blessings from God, planted like seeds in a child's heart, so that they will grow and flourish in alignment with their divine purpose. These talents are tools intended to prepare and equip chosen individuals for their unique role in God's plan. Imagine a child who has a natural ability to draw, creating detailed pictures long before they learn about perspective or shading. For others, it may be a love of music, where melodies come effortlessly out of their mind and hands. These talents often emerge at an early age, sometimes even to the surprise of the child's parents or teachers. At first, they may seem like hobbies or quirks, but they are much more than that. They are gifts from God, given as both a blessing and a responsibility. For some people, their talents lie not in art but in their minds. Perhaps you were the child who could solve puzzles with ease, excel at math without much effort, or come up with creative solutions that no one else had thought of. These intellectual abilities, often lauded as academic success, are also spiritual gifts. God gave you the ability to think critically and solve problems because He wants you to use that ability to make a difference in the world. Others may find their gift in interpersonal skills. These are the children who naturally connect with others, make friends easily, and know just what to say to make someone feel comfortable. If you were this kind of child, your gift wasn't just about being liked. It was about your ability to influence, lead, and inspire others. God often uses these interpersonal talents to shape leaders, teachers, and advocates who will guide others with love and wisdom. These talents don't always come without challenges. For some people, their abilities may have made them feel different from their peers. Maybe you were the child who was different in ways that made others jealous or suspicious. While this may feel isolating, it was also a part of God's plan to set you apart. He often uses these moments to teach humility, perseverance, and trust in Him. As a child, you may not have understood the full extent of your talents or the reasons you were drawn to certain things. Maybe you simply loved to sing, build, write, or help others without realizing that these interests were meant to serve a higher purpose. Over time, as you grow and mature, these abilities often become clear. revealing that God wants you to use them for His glory. If you reflect on your life, you can see how these unique gifts have shaped your path. Perhaps they led you to opportunities you never expected, or opened doors that were exactly in line with your calling. These talents were never meant for your benefit alone. They were given to you to share, inspire others, and play a role that only you can play. Your unique gift or talent is a reflection of God's creativity and purpose in your life. Whether your gift is in the arts, science, or simply in the way you care for others, it is a sign that God has given you everything you need to do all that He has called you to. Cherish it, nurture it, and trust that it will lead you to a life that honors Him. Attraction to solitude and contemplation. While some children crave constant activity and social interaction, children chosen by God often enjoy moments of solitude. This is not a sign of shyness, but rather a deeper, introspective nature that allows them to connect with God on a personal level. From an early age, some children are naturally drawn to solitude and contemplation, while others may thrive in the hustle and bustle of constant activity and social interaction. These children find joy and peace in stillness. This is not a sign of shyness or withdrawal, but rather a deeper, more introspective nature. For those chosen by God, this love for quiet moments often becomes a path to connecting with Him, hearing His voice, and finding clarity in their purpose. Imagine a child who prefers sitting by a window and watching the rain rather than playing loudly with friends. They may spend hours drawing, journaling, or walking in nature, marveling at the world around them. These moments of solitude are not about loneliness. They are about contemplation. These are times when the child can process his thoughts, feel emotions deeply, and unconsciously open his heart to the whispers of God's presence. For many people, these quiet times become a source of strength. Perhaps you can recall moments from your childhood when you would retreat to a favorite place to think or dream. Maybe it was sitting under a tree, feeling the wind on your face, or lying on your bed, staring at the ceiling while the world outside rushed by. In these moments, you probably felt a sense of peace, as if you were stepping into a place where everything made a little more sense. These moments weren't just daydreaming. They were opportunities for your soul to connect with something bigger. This attraction to solitude is often coupled with a love for creative or introspective activities. Such children may fill notebook pages with stories or doodles, jot down their thoughts in diaries, or get lost in books. They may wander in nature, fascinated by the rustling of leaves or the sounds of birds, finding inspiration in the quiet details of life. These activities allow their mind and heart to commune with God, even if they don't consciously realize it at the time. While this inclination toward contemplation is a gift, it can sometimes make a child feel isolated. In a world that often values extroversion and constant activity, a child who seeks solitude may be misunderstood. They may be labeled shy, quiet, or even antisocial, but this need for peace is not a flaw, it's a strength. It is in these quiet moments that they gain insight, develop their creativity, and most importantly, prepare their hearts for God's guidance. Over time, this contemplative disposition often becomes a defining characteristic. This prepares these individuals to be thoughtful, intentional, and deeply connected to their faith. They can grow into people who seek God's will through prayer and meditation, who make decisions wisely and carefully, and who inspire others through their ability to see beauty and purpose in life's smallest details. If you recognize this trait in yourself, cherish it. Your love for solitude and contemplation is not a sign of weakness or isolation, it is a gift. It allows you to step away from the noise of the world and draw closer to God, to hear His whispers in your heart. These quiet moments are where He speaks, where He plants dreams and ideas that will one day bear fruit. Embrace them as sacred places where God is at work, shaping you into who you are meant to be. Feeling a unique sense of protection. Many chosen individuals recall instances of feeling an unseen hand guiding or protecting them in moments of danger or uncertainty. These experiences are not mere coincidences, but signs of God's providence over your life. From a young age, many chosen individuals experience a unique sense of protection that seems to transcend natural explanations. These moments often come in times of uncertainty or danger, leaving a lasting impression on the heart. This feeling isn't just wishful thinking or coincidence. It's a profound marker of God's providence over their lives, a reassurance that He has always been near, guiding and shielding them even when they didn't realize it. Imagine a child walking home after school and narrowly avoiding an accident, perhaps by an unexplainable twist of events. Or think of a moment when a sudden, overwhelming calm washed over them during a frightening storm, even as those around them were panicking. These are not random occurrences. They are signs of a divine presence, subtly reminding the child that they are never alone. Perhaps you can recall similar instances from your own childhood. Maybe you were in a situation where you could have been hurt, an accident narrowly avoided, a dangerous decision averted at the last moment. At the time, it might have felt like luck or good fortune. But looking back, you might sense that there was something greater at work. Many chosen individuals can identify these moments as times when God's unseen hand was actively protecting them, ensuring that they were kept safe for the purpose He has planned. This sense of protection often goes hand in hand with a deep inner knowing. Even as a child, you might have felt a sense of calm or reassurance in the midst of chaos, as if you were surrounded by a peace that didn't make sense given the circumstances. It could have been during a family argument, a moment of personal fear, or even a larger crisis. That inexplicable peace was a glimpse of God's faithfulness, a whisper that He was there, watching over you. These moments of divine protection also shape the way chosen individuals view life. They often develop a sense of gratitude and trust, knowing that there is a force greater than themselves guiding their steps. This doesn't mean they live without challenges or hardships, but there is an underlying belief that no matter what, they are held securely in God's hands. As these individuals grow, the memory of these protective moments becomes a source of strength and faith. They realize that if God has carried them through past trials, He will continue to do so in the future. This awareness encourages them to step boldly into their calling, knowing that they are never walking alone. If you've experienced such moments, they are not mere coincidences. They are God's way of showing His presence and care in your life. Whether it was a miraculous escape, a sudden wave of peace, or simply an unexplained sense of safety, these experiences were reminders that you are deeply valued and chosen. They are a testament to His love, a reflection of His promise to never leave you nor forsake you. Looking back on these moments with gratitude allows you to see how God's hand has been on your life from the very beginning. His protection over you is not just about safety, it's about purpose. He has shielded you because He has plans for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Trust in that promise and let these experiences strengthen your faith as you continue to walk in His divine plan. Drawn to leadership or advocacy. From an early age, some children are naturally drawn to leadership roles, even if they don't fully understand the significance of that calling. It's not about gaining power or attention. It's about influencing others in a way that reflects God's heart and purpose for their lives. These children often find themselves in positions where they guide, inspire, or bring people together, even if they don't consciously try to do so. Their actions, however small, seem to carry a weight of responsibility that others recognize and follow. Imagine a child who takes charge during a group project at school without being asked. They organize tasks, encourage others to contribute, and make sure everyone's voice is heard, Even on the playground, this child might naturally take on the role of mediator, resolving conflicts between friends or offering guidance to someone who feels left out. Their leadership is not about attracting attention or getting praise. It is about serving others and leading them toward a common good. There is a quiet authority in their actions, an ability to draw others in and unite them with kindness and clarity. Perhaps you can recall moments from your childhood when you found yourself in similar situations. Maybe you were the one who led a group of friends in sports, or perhaps you found yourself encouraging others during difficult times, offering words of comfort when no one else knew what to say. These moments often seem small in the big scheme of things, but they are important. They are a sign that God has placed leadership potential within you, meant to grow and be used for His great purpose. Children chosen by God often have an innate ability to see potential in others and encourage it. They can recognize when someone is struggling, whether it is at school or in a social setting, and they instinctively offer help or advice. It is not a desire to control or dominate, but rather a deep compassion and understanding that allows them to help others become the best versions of themselves. They attract people not by force, but by their ability to empathize and uplift. This natural tendency to lead often extends beyond their immediate circle of friends. These kids may find themselves involved in activities where they can inspire and guide large groups, perhaps as the captain of a sports team, the leader of a youth group, or the initiator in a school program. Their leadership is characterized by humility, service, and an unwavering commitment to the well-being of others. What is important about this type of leadership is that it reflects the character of God. He calls His followers to lead with love, humility, and integrity. And these chosen children often exemplify those qualities, even if they are not fully aware of how they are affecting others. They naturally embody qualities such as patience, kindness, and wisdom, qualities that are central to godly leadership. As you grow older, this natural tendency to lead may become clearer and more defined. You may find that the moments in which you stepped up to help or guide others were not random. They were part of a divine calling. Your leadership is not simply for the good of others at the time. It is a reflection of God's plan for you to impact the world around you in ways you may not have expected. If you've found yourself naturally stepping into leadership roles or advocating for others, this is a sign that you are being prepared for something greater. Your ability to lead with compassion and humility is a gift that can serve as a powerful tool in God's hands. The qualities you have demonstrated, even in small moments, are shaping you into someone who can make a difference in the lives of others and fulfill the purpose God has set for you. Trust that your leadership, even though it may seem trivial right now, is a part of God's greater plan for your life. Final reflection. As you reflect on your childhood, you might begin to notice the small yet significant moments that shaped who you are today. These aren't just random experiences, they are divine markers, evidences of God's hand on your life from the very beginning. It's easy to look back and think of them as mere coincidences or fleeting memories, but when you pause to consider the bigger picture, you realize they are a part of God's intentional design, a roadmap leading you toward your purpose. In Romans 8:28, the Bible assures us that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. This verse is a powerful reminder that every part of your story, whether joyful or painful, easy or challenging, is being used by God for your good. Even in the difficult moments, His hand is at work, shaping your character and guiding you toward His purpose for your life. Looking back on your childhood, these signs of being chosen may have appeared as quiet whispers of divine protection, moments of unexplainable peace in the chaos, or times when you felt drawn to help and lead others. Maybe you had a special talent, a deep awareness of right and wrong, or a heart sensitive to the needs of those around you. These experiences were not by accident. They are part of the unique calling that God has placed on your life. Being chosen by God doesn't mean your life will be free from challenges. It doesn't mean everything will be perfect or easy. Instead, it means that your life has a purpose, one that is shaped by God's love and His plans for you. The path may not always be smooth, but every experience, every challenge, and every triumph is part of the process that draws you closer to fulfilling the destiny He has planned for you. As you continue on this journey, remember that the same God who set you apart before you were born is still guiding you today. Trust in His plan, even when the way seems unclear, and lean on the assurance that He is always with you. Each step you take, no matter how small, is part of His greater purpose for your life. Embrace these moments from your past as proof of God's faithfulness and His calling on your life, and move forward with confidence, knowing He is with you every step of the way.